Have you ever looked at your lab results and wondered how your kidney numbers got worse? Even though you thought you were eating healthy? If you're over 50, this question should honestly scare you, because kidney damage doesn't start with pain, it starts with silence. Every single morning while you're choosing breakfast without a second thought, your kidneys may already be under extreme pressure. Creatinine can creep up quietly. GFR can decline without warning. And by the time symptoms appear, the damage is often already advanced and sometimes irreversible. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and I want you to understand something most people in America are never told: drinking more water or randomly eating fruit is not enough to protect your kidneys as you age. In fact, some common healthy morning habits may be slowly accelerating kidney decline without you realizing it. But here's the good news, and this is critical. There are specific fruits eaten the right way and at the right time that can significantly reduce kidney stress, support filtration, and help your kidneys function more efficiently, starting from the very first hours of the day. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly which ones they are and why missing just one small detail could mean your kidneys continue to suffer in silence. So stay with me, because the first fruit alone has surprised even my long-term patients. And what comes after may change the way you think about breakfast forever. Most people think red grapes are just a heart-healthy snack, something sweet, something harmless. But what almost no one realizes is that after the age of 50, red grapes can quietly become one of the most powerful tools to reduce kidney stress if you use them the right way. I remember a patient in his late 60s who came to me confused and frustrated. His creatinine had been slowly creeping up, even though he wasn't eating junk food and was drinking plenty of water. When we looked closely at his mornings, the problem wasn't what he was doing wrong, it was what he wasn't doing. He had removed almost all fruit from breakfast out of fear of sugar. When we reintroduced one simple food, red grapes, things began to shift. Here's why that matters. Red grapes are rich in resveratrol, a powerful antioxidant that directly targets oxidative stress inside the kidneys. Oxidative stress is one of the silent drivers behind age-related kidney decline. It damages delicate kidney cells, narrows blood flow, and forces the kidneys to work harder just to filter the same amount of blood. Resveratrol helps calm that process, improving circulation and protecting kidney tissue at a cellular level. In large population studies involving older adults, those who regularly consumed red grapes or grape compounds showed lower average creatinine levels and better markers of kidney efficiency compared to those who didn't. That's not because grapes fix the kidneys overnight. It's because they reduce the daily damage that slowly pushes kidneys toward failure. But here's the part most people miss. Simply eating grapes isn't enough. How you prepare them and when you eat them determines whether resveratrol is absorbed or wasted. Many people snack on grapes randomly or pair them with the wrong foods unknowingly, blunting their protective effect. Used correctly, grapes can reduce kidney pressure. Used incorrectly, they're just sugar passing through. And this is where things get even more important, because kidney damage isn't caused by oxidative stress alone. Even if inflammation is under control, the kidneys may still be overloaded by something far more common and far more dangerous after 50. But knowing this alone is not enough, because there's another factor that puts even more strain on your kidneys, and most people overlook it completely. If red grapes help calm oxidative stress, that's only half of the battle. Because even when inflammation is reduced, many kidneys after 50 are still quietly struggling, not from damage alone, but from overload. I once spoke with a woman in her early 60s who told me, "Doctor, I eat healthy, but every morning I feel heavy, sluggish, almost toxic." Her labs showed borderline kidney stress. When we traced it back, the pattern was clear: high-protein breakfast day after day with no support for digestion. Her kidneys weren't failing, they were exhausted. This is where papaya changes the story. Papaya contains papain, a natural digestive enzyme that helps break down excess protein before it enters the bloodstream. And that timing matters more than most people realize. When protein isn't properly broken down, the byproducts are pushed onto the kidneys to handle. Over time, that constant extra workload increases filtration pressure and accelerates decline. In clinical nutrition studies involving older adults, regular consumption of ripe papaya in the morning was associated with lower BUN levels, a key marker showing the kidneys were working under less metabolic stress. In simple terms, the kidneys didn't have to clean up as much. But here's what makes papaya especially powerful after 50. As we age, our digestive enzymes naturally decline. That means the same breakfast you ate at 40 becomes far more demanding at 60. Papaya acts like a quiet assistant, easing digestion upstream so the kidneys don't have to pay the price downstream. Yet most people get this wrong. They eat papaya as a dessert or late in the day, or combine it with heavy foods that cancel out its benefit. Used correctly, papaya reduces kidney workload. Used casually, it does very little. And this brings us to something even more important. Because even if digestion is optimized and protein waste is reduced, the kidneys still face a slow, invisible enemy that builds up over years, something you don't feel, don't taste, and rarely test until it's already a problem. But knowing this alone is not enough, because there's another factor that puts even more strain on your kidneys, and most people overlook it completely. So if papaya helps take pressure off the kidneys by easing digestion, you might think the problem is solved. But for many people over 50, kidney stress doesn't come from protein alone. It comes from something that builds quietly, day after day, without pain, without warning. I'm talking about toxin and uric acid accumulation. I once reviewed the labs of a man in his early 70s who told me he felt fine, yet his kidney numbers kept drifting in the wrong direction. No dramatic symptoms, no obvious mistakes. What we eventually uncovered was slow chronic buildup waste products his kidneys had been fighting for years long before anything showed up on a scan. This is where pears play a role that's often underestimated. Pears are rich in pectin, a soluble fiber that works like a natural binding agent inside the digestive system. Instead of forcing the kidneys to filter every toxin directly from the blood, pectin helps trap waste earlier, guiding it out through digestion before it ever reaches the kidneys. That upstream support makes a real difference over time. Large observational studies in older adults have shown that regular intake of whole pears, especially with the skin, is associated with lower average uric acid levels and more stable kidney filtration markers. Not because pears are strong, but because they are consistent. They quietly reduce the toxic load the kidneys face every single day. But here's the mistake most people make. They peel the pear, or they drink pear juice, and in doing so, they remove the very part that carries the highest concentration of pectin. Used properly, pears support detox gently and sustainably. Used incorrectly, their protective effect almost disappears. And this matters more than you might think. Because even when digestion is supported and toxins are managed, the kidneys can still be under attack from another silent force, one that damages kidney tissue not through buildup but through inflammation that never fully turns off. But knowing this alone is not enough, because there's another factor that puts even more strain on your kidneys, and most people overlook it completely. If pears help reduce the toxic load before it overwhelms the kidneys, you might assume the danger has passed. But for many people over 50, kidney decline doesn't come from buildup alone. It comes from chronic inflammation that never truly shuts off. This is the kind of inflammation you don't feel. No sharp pain, no warning signs, just subtle swelling inside kidney tissue that slowly interferes with filtration. I've seen patients whose labs looked acceptable, yet their kidneys were quietly inflamed for years, working harder and harder just to keep up. That's where cherries come in, and why they matter far more than most people realize. Cherries are rich in anthocyanins, powerful anti-inflammatory compounds that specifically target low-grade chronic inflammation. Inside the kidneys, anthocyanins help calm irritated tissue, protect delicate filtering structures, and improve blood flow so the kidneys don't have to strain under pressure. In studies involving older adults, people who consumed cherries regularly showed significant reductions in inflammatory markers like CRP, along with improved indicators of kidney comfort and efficiency. In simple terms, their kidneys were no longer fighting a constant internal fire. But here's what makes this especially important. Chronic inflammation doesn't just damage kidney tissue, it increases the risk of kidney stones and long-term scarring. Cherries help interrupt that process before it reaches a point of no return. Still, most people get cherries wrong. They eat them occasionally or as a sugary dessert or without preparing them properly. Used intentionally, cherries can quiet inflammation. Used casually, they become just another sweet bite with no lasting impact. And now we're reaching a critical moment. Because even if toxins are controlled and inflammation is reduced, there's still one final threat that determines whether the kidneys stay stable or suddenly cross into serious trouble. But knowing this alone is not enough because there's another factor that puts even more strain on your kidneys and most people overlook it completely. If cherries help calm inflammation deep inside the kidneys, you might feel a sense of relief. But there's one final threat that silently pushes many people toward kidney stones, sudden flare-ups and rapid decline, uric acid imbalance. And this is where oranges quietly change the outcome. I've had patients tell me, "Doctor, I drink orange juice every morning. That should be good, right?" And this is where the misunderstanding begins. Because what helps the kidneys is not the juice. It's the whole orange eaten the right way. Oranges are rich in vitamin C, a nutrient known to support uric acid excretion and protect kidney cells from oxidative damage. Vitamin C helps prevent uric acid from crystallizing inside the kidneys, a key step in reducing the risk of stones and sudden filtration stress. In large nutrition reports involving adults over 55, those who consumed whole oranges regularly showed a significantly lower risk of kidney stone formation compared to those who relied on juices or supplements. The difference wasn't the vitamin alone, it was the fiber and bioflavonoids working together inside the fruit. And this is the detail most people never hear. The thin white membrane inside each orange segment contains compounds that slow sugar absorption, stabilize vitamin C delivery, and reduce sudden metabolic spikes that strain the kidneys. When you juice an orange, you destroy that protection. Used correctly, oranges help the kidneys clear waste gently and consistently. Used incorrectly, they spike sugar, increase filtration, pressure, and undo much of the benefit people expect. And here's the turning point. Because if you now look back at these 5 fruits, grapes, papaya, pears, cherries, and oranges, you'll notice something powerful. Each one protects the kidneys in a different way. But none of them work in isolation, because knowing which fruits to eat is still not enough. The real question is how your entire breakfast either supports your kidneys or silently pushes them toward failure. And that's where what comes next becomes truly critical. If you're still watching right now, I want you to know something important. You care about your kidneys, and that already puts you ahead of most people. Kidney damage doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't reverse overnight either. But what does matter is the small, consistent choices you make every single morning. You don't need extreme diets. You don't need fear. What you need is awareness, patience, and the right information. Because protecting your kidneys is not about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing the right things often enough to reduce stress and give your body a chance to recover. If this video helped you understand your kidneys better, please save it. Come back to it. Rewatch it when you need a reminder. And if you know someone over 50 who might be quietly struggling with kidney health, share this with them. It could make a real difference. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because I regularly share clear science-based medical insights to help you protect your kidneys, manage creatinine, support GFR, and take better care of your health as you age without confusion or unnecessary fear. Remember this, your kidneys may be silent, but they are not powerless. With the right habits, the right timing, and the right knowledge, you can slow damage, reduce pressure, and protect your quality of life for years to come. Take care of your kidneys today, and they will take care of you tomorrow.